Hey, I'm Anne Coquette, and in this show, we bring you the most inspiring stories from female entrepreneurs, investors, and innovators in our ecosystem, the Guild community. Welcome to the Guild Show, and welcome Davina Kaonohi, the CEO and founder of Element Apothec, a skincare brand. And Davina has been a part of the Guild for a while, and she also attended the Guild Academy last year, and now just raised around for her skincare brand. So Davina, welcome to the show, and please tell us what inspired you to start such an incredible brand.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And the experience, I just have to say, at the Guild Academy, I mean, I'm so thankful for the opportunity that you gave me to be part of it, because I referenced it and I'm still in contact with some of the people that I was initially in that group with, and we lean on each other and support each other. So it was such a gift. But anyways, to talk a little bit about Element Apothec. So even though we just launched our products last year in November on Black Friday in the middle of the pandemic, which was crazy to think about launching a brand during the holiday season, during a pandemic. But we also wanted to get our products out there as quick as we could. But the interesting thing with Element Apothec is that the company we say is 10 years in the making. And that's because it started with my great aunt creating these products out of a need. She was quite sick and bedridden, and the prognosis wasn't good because she was also allergic to some of the medications and the preservatives in those medications. I had a sister at the time that grew cannabis and was focusing on high CBD strains, because she saw a lot of promise with some of the patients that she had through her dispensary collective at the time. And so she sent her some flour and gave her information to make what they call Rick Simpson oil, which is basically turning the flour into an oil that you can then ingest or use it in other products. So she took that and started adding that to MCT oil and putting it in tinctures and making skincare products and bath soaks and inhalers. I mean, so many things to help her. And every new product really helped her get out of bed a little bit better, rest a little bit better, support her pain. And over time, she actually got out of bed and was able to start living a functional life. And people took notice of that. And so over those 10 years, she actually created over 40 different formulations for people that would come and say, hey, I need help with this, or I need help with this. Everything ranging from face serums to muscle balms to products that help support sleep. And so one day she came to me and she was selling at farmers markets. I had built her a website, but she had no idea really what to do with it. Her site traffic was like just a couple visitors per month, which was really cute from the farmers market, I think. But she came and said, I feel like I was given a gift and I want my products to go from the kitchen to the world. And I know that you can help me do that. So that really was the foundation and starting point for Element Apothec.
Wow, what an awesome story. And it's probably not a story that's unique, right? Because a lot of people create something on the kitchen table and want to create a bigger impact and make it into a brand. But of course, there's also bad players in that space. So tell us more about the products and why they're different and what people love about them.
Yeah, so with Element Apothec, we took, a really not unique approach, but we wanted to preserve the quality of the products and why the company started. And myself also coming from kind of e-commerce startup, I had experience in operations and strategy and leadership and building teams, but I've never launched a wellness and skincare product before. And now I'm asking people to put this in and on their body. And even though my aunt had all this extensive experience, I still felt like we needed more medical expertise. So we built a medical advisory team, brought on a co-founder who's our chief scientific officer, Dr. Swathi, who's an integrative pharmacist, brought on a COO as a co-founder who had experience in manufacturing and logistics and some marketing background. And we launched. And in terms of the products, like I said, we wanted to keep the integrity of why we started. So that meant clean products, because my great aunt couldn't have preservatives or toxins in her products. We went above and beyond EWG. We looked at Canadian and European standards, even in formulating our products with preservatives, being vegan and plant-based, meeting the conscious consumer. If I were to buy the products, what product would I feel comfortable buying or giving to my mom or my grandma who actually do use our products today? And being, plant-based, looking at the best quality that we could have, and being transparent, because especially in the CBD cannabis place, there's a lot of bad players, as you mentioned. There's a lot of people that hide behind proprietary formulations that it might say 500 milligrams of CBD, but when it's tested, it's 100 milligrams. They may not list all the ingredients on their labeling. And so customers deserve to have better, and deserve to know what's in their products and that they're actually paying for what they're getting. And then also a focus on sustainability. I'm really passionate about the ocean, and trying to do as much as we can to help the planet. So we even looked at our packaging and our used sugarcane ethanol for our lotion tubing. And as much as we can, there are certain things that we have not been able to find alternatives, like the little droppers for our tinctures, but we're continually searching for better, high quality products. But I think the difference of the company is just in that, and going through the effort to create the best products, but also internally holding ourselves accountable to ethical decision making, and not sacrificing the brand or the quality of the products just to make a little bit of extra money.
I love that. And when I hear you talk, I think you must have a PhD in chemical engineering. You must have learned so much, because you just mentioned you had a different role before. So what was the last title on your resume before you embarked on this journey?
It was a business and strategy consultant was my last role.
So when exactly did you decide? Was it when your new great aunt came and talked to you, or at which point did you say, okay, let's leave that paycheck behind and concentrate all our energy and resources on this endeavor?
Yeah, I had been exploring. I mean, I had been in a corporate job and then moved to consulting, and I liked it, but I still felt like there was more I could do. I actually helped one of my uncles launch this really cool gadget that is sold on Amazon to hold sunglasses in your car. My family comes to me whenever there's internet or website stuff, because I worked at internet companies. I must know everything about the internet, but not that I do. But I really loved that process and going through that journey. I had also before, in between consulting and my corporate job, had launched a deal site like Living Social or Groupon, and we gave back to schools. It was actually how we helped schools raise money. And then we kept all of the deals within the community so everyone could support the community and local schools. I really love that entrepreneurial aspect of building your own business and building a team and seeing something that you do actually make an impact on people. And so I was kind of at this reflection point anyways when she came to me to try to figure out what was I going to do next. Was I going to go back and relaunch the deal side? I wasn't sure. Was I going to move forward with building out more of this other gadget and launching other types of interesting gadgets? But I also wanted something that would help me wake up every day to be excited about it, and being able to create products that I knew helped people, because I would buy her products for friends, for myself, for friends' parents when they were going through stuff. And so I knew that they worked and knew that it made a difference. So it was such an easy decision to say, okay, I'm going to jump on board and move forward with this.
What a great story. And I think there's so many entrepreneurs who are these accidental entrepreneurs, right? That just fall into a new category, and then just we're excited about figuring it out, even if it's a space that we don't know much about. And sometimes that's really great, because we bring that new, fresh perspective to the market, and we do not compromise in sustainability, for instance, right? So I really love that about your brand. So now, when you look back on your journey as the co-founder and CEO of Element Apothec, what were those points that defined you as the founder during that journey, and also the company? What were those milestones?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. There were a couple moments where I sat there and like, what am I doing? And and how am I this right person to be leading this? That imposter syndrome set in. But I can tell you, like as I said, I started going through at the same time I was getting ready to launch the business was when I started the Guild Academy. And going through that process, I think I even remember like we were putting together our marketing plan and we were putting together our branding, and it always coincided with whatever we were focused on. And it really helped to build out the business, and thinking about all of the different areas that we had to focus on, that being coming from more of a defined corporate type position or consultant, I didn't necessarily have access to think about all those. So I remember just that was such a definition. I would go back to David or Swati. I'm like, okay, now we got to focus on this and put this together. So that really helped us, even going through at that point, we started looking at how we were going to raise money and fundraising. So that was a big milestone actually of going through that whole process and building out the business plan and the business model simultaneously while going through the Guild Academy. I recommend it for anyone actually to go through, whether it's Guild Academy or some type of other accelerator program, because it really does help you to think through your decisions and why you're making things. The next milestone for us was when we got accepted to raise on Wefunder, because the CBD space is quite competitive. We were a new brand that really had no sales at all. And the fact that they saw the vision and value in what we were bringing to the table really solidified what we were doing as a brand and as a business. And then going through that process and talking to investors and seeing the interest that people had, we actually were on there for a little while because it just took a little bit to initially get that traction, since we were pre-revenue and a lot of the companies on there are already have traction revenue. But once we started the conversations and we got our lead investor and friends and family and other people started investing, it started growing, and I've started pitching at more events. And so each time you got this affirmation of what you were doing, it was a great feeling to be like, okay, now we hit this point, now we can keep going. Or when we first, had a month that generated a positive revenue and we were covering our expenses, it's like, okay, now we hit this revenue, now what's next to keep going? So all of those things, I think I look back, are such pivotal milestones in just keeping yourself going and the team going. Each time we bring on a new advisor or a new retail partner picked up by a new online marketplace, it's just such a experience to think about the success that you've had along the way and getting to where you're at right now.
Wow, what an amazing journey. And thank you for the testimonial for the Guild Academy. Of course, it's music to my ears because we put that program out exactly for founders like you who want that guidance and who have that drive themselves, but who just want to have an accountability group and also somebody to tell them, okay, here's a go-to-market plan, or here's a business model, and now go do it with your team and come back and we give you feedback. So you mentioned the Guild Academy as a startup resource. Are there any other resources that you would recommend to other founders in the e-commerce space or just generally?
I joined a lot of female founder groups on Facebook. The Commerce Club, which is run by Dolma, who also extends into Make Lane, I still am part of Make Lane, and I find such value in the women that are on there in the support network. And just sharing information and, hey, we're up against this challenge. How do we move forward? Also in the CPG space, there's Startup CPG, which has a Slack group that I'm on all the time, and I'm sharing information and resources and asking questions from people as well. Those have been some groups. And on Facebook is another female founder group. It's quite large. I don't even know how many people are on there, but I go on there sometimes and post questions. So that's been helpful just to get that support and network opportunity from people in the CBD space specifically. There's also ArcView and Women Empowered in Cannabis and CBD that can provide even more specific information of challenges that we face with marketing or banking and stuff like that are obstacles that we have to deal with every day being a company in this space.
Wow, those are great resources, and we have to list all of them in the show notes so that you can all check them out. And what are the biggest lessons learned from an e-commerce perspective and also from running a Wefunder campaign?
Yeah, for Wefunder, I think, it's funny because we got accepted on Wefunder, we put up the campaign and we're like, where's everybody? Like everybody's just going to all of a sudden show up and all this money's going to come in. And that can happen. Sometimes people get really lucky but a lot of it really is the work that they do beforehand, which is building out their email list and reaching out to marketing partners and getting the word out there. So that's why I when I mentioned we started a little slower, was because we didn't realize the amount of work that actually went into planning to do a raise on an equity platform like the equity crowdfunding platform. But it also is an amazing resource because you get access to people that you otherwise wouldn't have, and can have friends and family participate, and smaller angel investors that aren't able to write those $25,000 or $50,000 checks, but have $500 or $1,000 or $5,000 that they want to participate in. But I think I learned a lot about preparing and planning for anytime you do anything like that, whether it's new campaign or raising money. It just requires a lot of thought process and planning, and being an e-commerce company, especially, of how do you get the word out there, because it's not like you're a product sitting on the shelf and you have customers going in through the store that are familiar with you. They have no idea who you are when you launch as a brand, and so it's going to take more touch points to get people familiar with your products and the company, and why they should invest or why they should buy the products from you on your website.
Yeah, great advice. And by the way, Wefunder, as I mentioned, is a partner. They're taking a percentage of the investors that they bring to the campaign. And that percentage is a little lower if you are a guild member, just so you know. I'll put the link and tell you how that all works if you're thinking about a Wefunder campaign. But thanks for sharing that. And yes, a lot of people think, we just put the word out there and then money will rain from the sky. It's not like that. It's a marketing campaign. You have to put a lot of PR work, media work, and marketing and sales into those kinds of campaigns for them to really work, and to harness the power of the investors that they bring, right? Because they need to understand why you're a good investment. So, Davina, in a year from now, where do you want to see the brand?
Yeah, in a year from now, I see the brand, increasing our retail distribution, also increasing our direct-to-consumer sales. We're partnered with a medical group now that's partnered with cancer centers, and so I envision our products being in, hopefully several of the cancer centers across the U.S., just to provide some additional support for those patients, to just make life a little bit better for them. And the team growing, as we raise money and bringing on more in-house people than having to outsource or bring on consultants. So yeah, I just see us continuing to grow and to expand, obviously launching more products. We're looking at more compliant ways that people are used to taking products, because maybe tinctures maybe seems foreign for people to put a product underneath their tongue and hold it there for 30 seconds. So what's the best way for people to use it? For our skincare, it's easier to think about people using CBD and our face serum and lotion and balm, but we're also looking to expand product lines. And then we also are in conversations with a couple strategic partnerships where we'll do the R&D and product formulation behind them, and then co-brand the product so that they can utilize the medical expertise that we have, and be able to create products that stand out from so many of the other products that are in this space right now.
Oh, beautiful. So is there any clinical trials in the making?
Yeah, with the medical group that we're partnered with, we will be doing clinical trials with them on our products, and also doing a quality of life study with our customers as well, to show the percentage of increase that somebody experiences in terms of their quality of life after, how many days that they've used the products.
Oh, fantastic. That is so fascinating. Well, how can our listeners help you get there? And is there anything you want them to know?
Yeah, I mean, we're always looking for partnerships, whether it's through giveaways to help all of us grow our email list, or interesting strategic partnerships in terms of, like I said, we're co-creating products with some companies right now. Obviously, love for people to experience the products as well. We have a special for October where it's buy one, get one for 50% off. But if you want to try, you can always reach out to me, because our main goal is really to get more people to use the products and experience them. So all of that would be helpful, or any connections that you have. I think networking is always so great. I love introducing people, and you hear something, go like, oh, they should have a conversation. I don't know what will come of it, but they should talk. So I'm always open to those types of introductions, or if there's anything that I could do to help if someone's looking to launch a skincare brand or wellness brand and is trying to understand some of the obstacles of manufacturing and logistics, formulation, stuff like that. I'm always open to have those talks also.
Amazing. Thank you. Yes, there is always a lot of entrepreneurs in the Guild Academy who are in the wellness space and even skincare companies that want to launch, and they have so many questions. So thank you for that offer. And you can find Davina on the Guild at letsguild.com. You can join for free. You can find all the members, thousands of members, female entrepreneurs and investors on the platform, and ask your questions. And Davina, it was so wonderful to have you on the show. I'm so grateful for you and for your passion for making products that really enhance people's lives, and for being so open of sharing and, not just taking from the community, but really giving back as well as a female entrepreneur. So thank you so much for joining us here today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was so great to be on here and to connect with you again.
If you're inspired, then subscribe to our channels on YouTube, on our social media channels at Get Gilded, and also on our platform, letsguild.com. You can also sign up to our newsletter to get news about the latest and greatest in inspiring stories from female founders, entrepreneurs, investors, and innovators in the Guild. I'll see you next time.